up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith. Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative, and as you have seen, I will be doing the Reread, Rewrite, or Burned book tag. I was tagged in this one back in November, I believe it was, by Josephine from the channel Feeny Reads. I will have her version of this tag listed in the description box below. The gist of how this one works is you select 3 random books and you put them up against each other to see which one you would pick to reread, rewrite, or burn. I spent some time thinking about how was I going to choose my random selections, and I just felt if left to my own devices, I was going to stack the deck. So in order to make it a fair random number draw, I went to my Patreon and I hit up my top tier level patrons and I was like, all right guys, I need you all to choose 3 random numbers between 1 and 392, and they can't be the same number. So if someone above you has posted 3 numbers already, just make sure you pick 3 different numbers. And the reason it was between 1 and 392, well, that's just the amount of books that I had read in Goodreads at the time. Now, does that include every book I've ever read in my life? No, but I'm not one to go back and add all the books that I've read in my life. Those are just the books that I've read since I've started using Goodreads when I remember to add them. All right, let's get started. First, I have Anne. She chose 1, 3, and 4. All right, so book number 1 is The Book of Life, which is the 3rd book in the Discovery of Witches trilogy by Deborah Harkness. Book number 3 is Jude Devereux's A Knight in Shining Armor. And the 4th book was Francine Rivers' Redeeming Love. Funnily enough, 2 of these books are in the positions that they are because they were rereads, and that's A Knight in Shining Armor and Redeeming Love. So right off the bat, I'm going to choose Redeeming Love as my reread because I generally reread this one at least once a year, so that takes care of my reread. Now, rewrite or burn. I'm going to choose rewrite for A Knight in Shining Armor. I have read this book so many times. It's my favorite book by Jude Devereux. There is something in this book that every time I read it, it makes me cry my eyes out. Even though I know it's coming, I would rewrite that scene just to make myself feel better. And that leaves The Book of Life for the burn pile. I'm not mad about it. I do love this trilogy by Deborah Harkness. Is it the best thing I've ever read? No. But did I enjoy it? Yes. Alright, so let's see who's next. Tara. Tara chose number 392, 55, and 36. So 392 was The Trouble with Peace by Joe Abercrombie. Number 55 was a manga, volume 4 of Inuyasha. And then number 36 is Daniel Barnett's Nightfall. Okay, so those of you that have been around this channel for a while, you know that there are 3 favorites sitting in front of me. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw Inuyasha in the burn pile. I mean, somebody has to get chosen, so I'm going to choose reread for Nightfall, and so that leaves rewrite for The Trouble with Peace. I am sure there is something that happened in this book, as in all of the First Law books, that I probably would have tweaked or had done differently just to make somebody that I cared about come out on top a little better. So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right. Next up, Jennifer chose numbers 5, 292, and 189. Number 5 is Blind Sympathy by Roberta Bambinato. Number 292 was Mike Schell's Sin Eater. And then number 189, I don't actually own this one. I checked it out from my library, but it was volume number 11 of the comic Chew called The Last Suppers. I am going to reread Chew. Blind Sympathy is going to the burn pile, and rewrite is going to be Sin Eater. And the reason why I chose rewrite for this one, all 3 books in this trilogy have the same sort of theme setup. I would just change that in this one just to make it something a little different. That one was a close one though, because if it had been a different issue of Chew, that would have definitely been my rewrite. Some of these would have gone completely different if it had been different books of the series. All right, next up we have Andrew. Andrew chose numbers 29, 31, and 166. Number 29 is Revolver by Michael Patrick Hicks. Number 31 is Widow's Point by Richard Chizmar and his son Billy Chizmar. And then number 166 is Severed by Joshua Marcella. So for me, Reread is going to be Severed by Joshua Marcella. Burn is going to be Revolver, and then Rewrite is going to be Widow's Point. There's a certain section in there I would make a little less scary. I listened to the audiobook on that one and it really got me, or I got myself. It just depends on how you look at it. Okay, so next up is Stacy. Stacy chose numbers 8, 108, and 280. She likes the number 8, methinks. Number 8 is To Guard with Love by Roberta Bombinato. Number 108 is Chad Nicholas's Nightmare. And number 280 is Uzumaki with Junji Ito. It's really funny the number of times manga is coming up on these numbers. I feel so terrible because again, I'm choosing a Roberta Bombinato book for the burn pile. It's no offense, but it's the ones they're stacked up against, and they just so happen to be genres I read a little less of than anything else. Alright, so that one's burnt. I will probably not ever read Uzumaki again. I will 100% reread Nightmare. So Nightmare's my reread, and that leaves Uzumaki for a rewrite. Because it's a manga, I don't know that I would rewrite the story, but I would redraw some of the female characters, just make them a little more distinguished from one another. So here we go. Patrick is my last one here. So Patrick got numbers 6, 103, and 210. All right, so number 6 is The Host by Stephanie Meyer. And then number 103 is Evan Winter's Rage of Dragons. And number 210 is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Well, if you saw that review, you already know I am burning The Final Girl Support Group. I was 25% of the way into that book, or maybe less, and I canceled my pre-order. Thank goodness I was approved for the ARC on NetGalley. Dodged a bullet with that one. Okay, so we already know which one I'm burning. Rewrite and reread. Well, okay, so what I would do is reread The Host again. This one, again, is another one that was on that list because it was a reread. So The Host is a reread. I would rewrite Rage of Dragons, not because there is anything wrong with this book, because there is not. I would just add some more damn dragons in this book somewhere. Maybe a character happens to see one flying in the distance, because so many people think this title meant it was going to be full of dragons. And it does have dragons in the beginning. And there are reasons that you don't see dragons. They're used as weapons. If they were in there all the time, this wouldn't be a trilogy and it would only be about 20 pages long. But that's just my opinion though. Now I need to tag a few channels. I'm going to tag a few channels that are new to me. I would love if you would check them out. I will have each one listed below in the description box. I will tag In the Reader, Kay's Hidden Shelf, and Stacy. Stacy's last name, there's no way I will ever in a million years pronounce that correctly. Guys, thank you so much for watching today. Again, I hope you enjoyed this tag. I am so glad you came by today. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.